You are tuned in to a fireside chat with Zany Mystic. Join us now on another exciting metaphysical journey. Relax, tune in, drop out, and take a seat by the fire as we explore new realms and possibilities. This is Magenta Pixie. You can find me at magentapixie.weebly.com. But now, here is Zany Mystic and guest. Enjoy the show.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to a fireside chat with Zany Mystic. I'm your host, Lance White. Tonight, I'm thrilled to have one of my favorite authors on the show, DIANA LUPPI. DIANA is responsible for bringing forth the cosmic classic, ET 101, the Cosmic Instruction Manual. This manual is one of my all-time favorite pieces of writing, and I highly recommend reading it and savoring every word. DIANA's website is located at www.et101.org. Now, since I don't know a lot about DIANA, and that's the reason she's on the show, is to find out more, she's graciously agreed to my pestering her to find out more. So let's welcome her to the show right now. Hi, Diana. How are you?
Hey, Lance. How are you doing?
Pretty good, pretty good. So I think the thing that I am most curious about, I just have to ask you, is how did the ET 101 come about?
Oh, boy, that's a little bit of a story.
You don't have to go there if you don't want to.
No, it's okay. It's actually kind of funny. I was working for the Santa Fe Reporter, and they had asked me to be a columnist. Meanwhile, the Santa Fe Reporter, just for some background, is a award-winning, at least at the time I was working with it, award-winning investigative journalist.
Oh.
So it was actually based on Newsday in Long Island. So basically, they looked at pretty straight things. They're straight journalistic. But I had published through them. I had published a special edition that was about the healing arts, and actually it was very successful, and they were very shocked at it because I don't know why, they must have had their heads in the sand in Santa Fe. There are 3.5 healers to every person. I always wondered why anyone was sick in Santa Fe, Anyway, yeah, right. So it was news to them because they were not focused in that direction. So then they asked me to be a columnist for them. But meanwhile, I was really getting opened up at that time. This was in the late 80s, and the only thing that was of interest to me was becoming the extraterrestrial issue, And so I wanted to write about that in my column, but I didn't know how to get it in. So I asked, I just asked the forces that be, I said, give me an idea here about how I can get this by them. And then this brilliant idea hit me, is that one of the blind spots in this culture is that if something is in print, it has validity.
Right.
Instantaneously. And
oh, yeah.
There's really no rhyme or reason to that one. But nonetheless, it's the way it goes. So what I did is I made up ET 101, and then I reviewed it as a book that was about to be published.
Oh.
So, yeah, I know, and then I had to write the book because I put myself in the corner. But that's how I did it, and it was the publisher. I got called in to the publisher, and she said, and meanwhile, the publisher, the paper had changed hands. So this was a Rockefeller who is now my publisher, and she said, do you swear to me this book is about to be published in Santa Fe? And I said, oh, absolutely. Would I lie to you? It's like, and then that's when she never asked me the question, who was the writer? Luckily. So it went to press, and then I absolutely, because I absolutely had to write it, so I did.
Interesting.
I know.
Interesting.
It was actually a time warp that happened on that one. It's like I was trying to get buy them and I put myself in the corner. It was like the brilliance of it was a double whammy. It was both brilliant to get it through, but it was also put me in a position where I had to produce. So who knows who won on that one, but...
Well, it sounds like it was pretty much spirit, the guidance of spirit, or...
Oh, yeah,
you know.
Absolutely. That's one of the spirits. The thing is, spirit always works. It's never one-sided. It's always double-edged. So
oh, yeah.
That's how I backed myself into it. And I took off and did it.
Now, that came out about probably almost 20 years ago, didn't it?
Yeah, right, it did.
And it's fresh today, and as contemporary, and as riveting, and as funny, and as informative as it was 20 years ago.
Yeah, actually, there seems to be a second wave. It's like that. You know, it was written, at the time it was written, which basically got published to begin with in 1990. And I completed it in 89 in terms of the writing. But what happened is it was aimed at a very specific group, and that group was the Vanguard group, you know. Well, 20 years, it's almost a generation has gone by now.
Right.
And all of a sudden there is a whole new group that need that material. And to be very, very honest with you, because I can't take credit for this part of it, I did have extraterrestrial energies come in. I wasn't even expecting that one. And I was pretty clear with them, though. I said, you know, look, I'm no channel. I don't want to be one. That's basically because I was in Santa Fe. Everybody and their mother channels in Santa Fe. So, and I was wary of it.
Yeah.
And I said, and I'm not a Kelly girl. So you know, I'm not going to just sit here and that's not what's going to happen. You know,
right.
My name isn't going on this unless I know the truth of what's being said. You know, and so they're very, very respectful in that. You know, it's like sometimes I really balked at some of the things that were being said because I did not comprehend them.
Oh.
And they'd back up, and then they'd give me an experience of it. Within the next 2 days or so, I'd have an entire experience of it. And I'd say, okay,
wow.
Then I'll put that in.
Wow, it's amazing.
So that's how it went. Yeah,
wow.
It was this whole thing was an experience from the inception of my great idea of sneaking it by the reporter all the way through. The guidance was phenomenal. And the part I can't take credit for was they did say to me specifically one thing. They said, your job is to create a chalice capable of holding a greater energy. Now, the way I took that, and I didn't quite comprehend exactly what they meant, but what I did was that book was always edited aloud. It was in other words, the humor made people not get that there was a tremendous rhythm going on in the there was cadence, there was tonal quality and that's how I made it, and that's what I edited for, was for sound, not for words. Words are not the important things on this. And then after it was all over and I finally took some time away from it and came back and read it, I heard the tone that was set into the thing that was actually above audio range. But still communicate. I know, and I said, oh my God.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, no, I mean, that was pure spirit. And so that's why I can't say. The brilliance of it is that in architecture was not done by me. That was done by, couldn't have thought that complexly. But I did understand that sound was extremely important. A couple of authors ticked it off and wrote to me.
Literally.
They said it's pure poetry, and I said, God, you've picked it up. But because they wrote, they knew that there was something that I was doing there that wasn't normal, at least not normal writing, and that. So that's how greater energy could exist in it beyond the words. In other words, the book was a front. The book was a front for an adjustment, and it was a tone that was going out that was saying, wake up, everybody, you know, because they have a lot of people in here right now. We have tons of people in here. Whether they can get up in time, I mean, is always an issue, you know. And so right now there is something going on that where a whole new wave have come to that place, and they were too young at the time. I mean, 20 years is a lot of years. And they're on deck, and that's where the new, you know, the book is going out again. Unfortunately, I'm running out of books, and, you know, everything is at a higher price, but nonetheless, they're still available until I have to come up with some other plan. But by that time, another book will be out, so we'll catch everybody up and onward.
Well, good. And you have articles that you've been writing too, which are very, very funny and very true. And they're on your website, also at et101.org.
Yeah, I had some fun with those, but those are also packed. I mean, I'm not really. There's many people that do political parody that are better than I am. I'm not really trying to do that. Actually, more of it is prophecy than it is parody. But it's also to not give. I mean, this force that I think it'd be wrong for everyone to underestimate what we're facing here. And the reason is because this is probably, well, there is only one war, and it's a war against consciousness. Whenever all these other wars are distractive interludes leading to that same place. And of course, what the forces that be that have controlled this place for a very, very long time. Excuse me. I just swallowed on. All right. What they're concerned about is our awakening. Because
well, I think we're all we're all.
Yeah, I know. They're very worried. They're very worried.
So am I.
Reason to be. Yeah. Right. That's true. We have reason to worry about it all.
We sure do.
So, yeah. So that they're basically parasitic, and they will not be able to exist in a parasitic form if we come to consciousness, because they're feeding off of us. Right. Yeah, in consciousness, they cannot do that. They cannot do that because we're above the vibrational range that would even permit that to go on. But
it's been going
so they're
on
fighting for their life at the same time we're fighting for ours, and that life isn't about us simply surviving this. It's about us taking a very huge step in consciousness at this time.
Well, I'm ready. Are you?
Who knows? But ready or not, here it comes.
Well,
I was told once, this is Mission Control. They're really not named Mission Control, but that's the name that they said. They said, look, when this hits, you're not going to have time to look up a yoga position. This is going to happen so fast that you're not going to be able to pretend you don't know. And that's what we're doing. We're pretending we don't know.
Right.
So that's what they're saying. You can do all this stuff that you want in terms of spiritual preparation.
Right.
But the fact is, when the chips are down, you're going to have to say, this is what I am. It's to be or not to be will be the only question. And we won't be able to. I had an experience of this one, by the way. I had a car accident, which actually paid for writing ET101. But I was rear-ended on I-25. I mean, it was like an impossible accident, and it happened. And I had dreamed about it the night before. So this is another, here comes the funding. Well, this car was coming on at me at about 20 miles an hour faster than I was going.
Oh, dear.
And I thought, oh, my God. I said, I must be invisible for this to be happening. Oh. And then I grabbed the wheel, and I straightened it because I knew I was going to get hit. I hit the accelerator as hard as I could to try to make the impact less.
Right.
And then I immediately, I am looking at the whole thing from the top of the car. I got out of my body before the hit.
Wow.
So that I didn't sustain it. And I did actually